How did your presentation go
Girl,
today?
I'm great. It was great. Thanks for asking.
What did you talk about?
The Rams Know How Mobile Clinic. The Healthcare on Wheels. You know, we have the mobile clinic here on campus. Offers free preventative healthcare services.
What does it do there? Like, what's the clinic? It goes throughout the community?
Yeah, it goes throughout the community, the East Winston area. Okay.
How did you take your... On this week's episode of The Doctors, we'll be having a guest speaker to speak about her acid reflux.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you again, Tayanya, for coming on The Doctors. So what we're basically going to do is just ask you different questions about your acid reflux and the medications you take, and I'm going to help you further understand how it's all working for you.
Okay.
So my first question would be, what do you think acid reflux is?
I think acid reflux is acid that's produced in your stomach that travels up to your esophagus.
Okay, so I mean that's the right idea. Is these parietal cells are the cells in your stomach that produce the acid. And so for a normal stomach, your acid levels may be right here, but in your case what's happening is your acid levels are elevated, which therefore when you eat something, so say you eat a gummy bear, what happens is it's going to raise these acid levels, and so now your levels are going to, they come up to your esophagus, which is why you experience heartburn. Okay, so now my next question would be, what medications do you take?
I currently take omeprazole. I've been on it for about 6 years now.
Okay, so how does it make you feel? Do you feel like it's working?
It's wonderful. I take it before I eat dinner, and it works perfect. I don't have any symptoms. I don't have any problems with it. However, if I skip a day, it depends on what I had for dinner the day before. I may experience symptoms, but if I skip a day sometime, I'll be fine too.
Okay, so you said approximately how long before you eat are you supposed to take it?
I'm supposed to take it 30 minutes before I eat.
Here, let's talk about how your stomach works prior to taking your medication. So you have ligands, which are in your blood flow. So these are going to be the histamines, these squares. And the histamine is going to bind to this receptor. And so this initiates the cascade events, which are the gastrin, which then come in. This is a circle. We'll use this as a receptor. And the gastrin binds to the gastrin receptor. And then following is the acetylcholine, which will bind to its receptor. Once all three of these receptors are bound, it initiates the production of the acid from the proton pumps. And so these proton pumps are going to initiate the levels of your gastric acid, and it provides the production of it essentially. So now with your medication, specifically omeprazole, let's just remind the audience what that is, what your medication is. When you take omeprazole, which is a delayed release capsule, so that allows the medication to get through the acid so it doesn't burn through or break it down before it can do what it has to do. Omeprazole is a proton pump inhibitor. So what that means is this omeprazole will use a star to represent that. The omeprazole will bind to these proton pumps, not allowing the acid to be produced at all. So therefore, you will still get all of these other receptors to bind to their gastrin receptor or their acetylcholine receptor. But even though they're doing this, because you inhibited the proton pump, there still will be no acid production. Which is why when you take your medication, the 30 minutes to an hour before, you can eat your food without feeling the effects of the levels rising and into your esophagus or heartburn or anything like that. So with all that being said, do you have any questions about how the medication works or anything in general?
Yes. Can you explain to me how the medication binds to the protein pump?
Sure. So what happens is the active ingredients from your medication, omeprazole, is called sulfonamide. And what happens is the sulfonamide is what is covalently bonding to the proton potassium ATPase, which is on your proton pump, which allows the active ingredient to bind to it. So, did that answer your question? Do you have any more questions?
No, you hit it right on the head.
All right, well, thank you for joining us, and I hope you have a great day. I hope I've explained it plenty that you can understand what's going on with you when you take your medicine. Can everybody please give her a round of applause, Miss Taylor? Hey, did you take your medicine?
No.